Hello, Facebook friends. It's Rachel, and I hope you are having an absolutely amazing, fantastic day. I'm super excited about tonight's talk. My camera seems to be falling over a little bit. Hello, Kathy. I'm super excited you decided to join me. So we'll get started in just a moment. I know a few people told me they were excited to hear what I was going to present on today. And I hope you all had a really amazing Wednesday too. And I am excited to announce that my daughter, she tried out for the junior softball team for the high school, and she made it. And she didn't just make it, she also made it on to the gold team. And of course, her being happy definitely helps with my happiness too. Although of course it's never other people's job to make us happy, nor is it our circumstances, but definitely doesn't hurt when we get amazing, wonderful news like that. So I'm super proud of her for working hard and for being able to achieve a goal. All right, so tonight's Facebook Live is all about how to feel better. And I've got some 10 easy steps that you can follow, that you can be more aware of, that will definitely, I believe, help. I know they've helped me a ton in my life. Okay, so we'll get started. And the first one is to understand your mind versus the external world. So what's going on in your mind is very different from what is happening often in the external world. And it's important to start to observe and start to learn the difference between the two. They are not the same. So remember that. That's our first step. Second step is find the internal cause. So as many of you have been signing on each week, so you're aware of the model that I teach, and all of our thoughts cause our feelings. So often people want to blame circumstances or other people, but your own happiness is up to you. So when you can identify the thoughts in your head, the sentence in your head behind the feeling, you can start to learn how to manage your own happiness. So no matter what's happening, whatever the circumstance is, you can choose to think on purpose. So the brain is absolutely amazing, and it stores tons of information in it. Some of it is super helpful. So for example, when you your brain stores information on how to brush your teeth, right? You don't have to think about the fact that you have to pick your hand up to put the toothpaste on the toothbrush. And once you put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, put it against your teeth, right? You just automatically do that, which is amazing, right? But the brain is also working on default all the time, meaning that we come up with all sorts of beliefs and stories that we then live by. And those are the thoughts. Those thoughts are going to directly impact how you feel. So we've got to start to get an understanding of what is the internal cause, what's making you feel this way. The next step is to know and to name your feelings. So identify them in your body, label the feeling in your body, and then feel it in your body. So many people aren't even aware of where the feeling is or what it is. So we end up just resisting, reacting, or avoiding. And these, all they do is cause a buildup of the emotion, and it causes it to fester. When we allow the feeling, when we encourage ourselves to experience the feeling will pass through us. So the good news is that we can tolerate all feelings, because feelings are just vibrations in our body. So when you start to tell yourself, I can handle all feelings, then there's absolutely no feeling that you have to be afraid of. Awesome news. Next step, start to manage your thoughts. So we learned already that our thoughts create our feelings. So you have to learn to change your thoughts. Your brain is good at thinking what it already knows from past experience. Your job now is start to create new thoughts, new beliefs, and then practice them on purpose. So think about your brain as a 3-year-old running around the house with a knife, totally unsupervised, right? That's our brains, most of us. But your job is to start to supervise your brain and start to manage your own thoughts. Next step is to start to embrace from there emotional adulthood. And so what is emotional adulthood? Emotional adulthood, cannot talk tonight, is taking full responsibility for all of your feelings. So emotional childhood is when you blame others or you blame events to causing you to feel a certain way. This leaves us very disempowered, and it doesn't leave a lot of space for growth and to feel better in our lives. So it is our jobs as adults to embrace emotional adulthood. And when you start to manage your own thoughts, then you take control over your entire life, right? So you can take control over your feelings, and all of your feelings, we know, control our actions, and our actions will directly impact the results in our life. So start to embrace emotional adulthood. Constrain and simplify. So the brain has about 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. That is a lot of thinking going on in the brain. And often what happens, like we just talked about, is your brain needs a little bit of supervision. So every single day you decide what you want to think. You get to decide how you want to think, long as you decide to think on purpose. So you choose what to focus on, what to think, what to question to answer, and what problems you want to solve. And then from there, if you keep your mind focused, your brain will not respond so much from default. Your brain will start to be rewired to a stronger, more joyful, more happy way of being, because you will be thinking on purpose. Decide ahead of time. So decide ahead of time. I don't know why my camera keeps falling down. Decide ahead of time what you want to think. And how I view this is every single morning I make a list, and I encourage all my clients to do this, of what you want to think for that day, right? What do you want to think about yourself? What do you want to think about the others in your life that you love and care for? What do you want to think about your job, right? You get to choose all of that from your thinking. And like we said, when you start to choose your own thinking, it will dramatically and drastically affect how you feel for the rest of the day. Choose joy over immediate pleasure. So our brain is wired and always seeks pleasure. And in the world we live in now, we have so many false pleasures, right? We have food, we have alcohol, we have drugs, we have a lot of people use shopping. Some people use overworking to avoid feeling our feelings. So when you choose one of those false pleasures, all you're going to lead your mind to is to shame and blame. Whereas when you choose joy instead of the false pleasures, then you will find a sense of peace and happiness. And so when I talk about choosing joy, I mean doing things for you that bring you lasting joy, like a long walk outside in the fresh air or a massage, right? The touch to the human skin is one of the most powerful ways to feel constant, steady flow of dopamine. Connecting with friends, connecting with family, reading a really good book. These are ways to find joy instead of seeking pleasure. Pleasure feels great in the moment, but it is not lasting. Set proper boundaries. You can't control anyone. Adults get to behave, guess what, however they want. So, knowing this means that you don't get to control them. They get to be and act however they want. So what you can do is set appropriate boundaries. You can allow what you want to allow and not allow what you don't want to allow, right? And when you set an appropriate boundary, you state what it is, and then there's consequences. But you must follow through with those. Otherwise, they mean nothing to the people that you set them with. All right, the last one, to achieve results through massive action. So how do you achieve results through massive action? That means you, A, do all these steps we talked about, and you do them daily, and you repeat over and over and over. It is through repetition that we get stronger. So by managing your mind every day, by acknowledging your thoughts, and then by changing the thoughts that no longer serve you, and then directing your thoughts on purpose, and then writing them out every single day. What do you want to think? This is taking massive action. Now, just watching this video, reading about it, talking about it, that's passive action, which is a great start. But if you want to see dramatic changes in your life and you want to feel better, you've got to practice this every single day. And I tell you from personal experience, because I have a morning routine now that I do every morning. It starts with meditation. So starting to just observe my thoughts. I follow it up with what I call a thought purge and just a word vomit. Write down everything I'm thinking. And then I start to manage the thoughts that aren't serving me. And then I create a list of what I want to think on purpose for the day. I can tell you I've been doing this very consistently and it works. It's like magic. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you will choose to start to live a happy, peaceful life by starting to manage your mind, manage your thoughts, and live with intention. If you're uncertain or struggling with any of these steps, don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to chat with you. We can talk more, and hopefully I can help you help yourself to a place of more peace and joy. All right, I hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic, amazing night and a beautiful rest of your week. Let's talk again soon. Namaste.